What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. NFL DFS video. We are looking at the Monday night showdown between the Saints and the Packers in Green Bay with a third-string quarterback and a 14-point spread. I don't know about you, but this might not be the best Monday Night Football game we've seen. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we're still going to break it down for you. So what we're going to do is, if you've never been here before, we are going to give insight and stats from last year up until Sunday Night Football last night on DraftKings of how the breakdown goes of your lineup construction, your captain spots, your stacking. We're going to go from there. Then on top of that, we're going to build a few lineups on DraftKings, a few lineups on FanDuel, and then one or two lineups on Yahoo. Again, I don't love this matchup here, but we are currently looking at a Green Bay spread of 14, which they've only covered 3 of their last 10 games, with an over-under of 42.5, which Green Bay has covered 8 of their last 10 games. And if you look at the Saints have covered a 14-point spread in their last 6 straight games and 7 of their last 10. They have not covered the 42.5 over-under in their last 3 games, which is kind of wild. Saints are 5-9. You got the Packers at 10-4. Packers at home in cold weather, not a dome. This could spell disaster, but we're still going to cover it. We're still going to look at it, and we're still going to hopefully help you bring home the bacon. So if you've never been here before, welcome to the channel. We do have giveaways every single video. There are 2 giveaways in this video, or 1 giveaway in this video. The giveaway here, like the video, be a YouTube subscriber, and leave a comment. If this video gets at least 50 likes, you'll have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. That is a week of every sport that is covered. So at the beginning of the new year, that'll be NBA, NFL, PGA, and MMA. If this video gets at least 100 likes, you'll have a chance at a free month of FTA Plus. 150 likes, a free year. 200 or more likes, a chance at a lifetime pass. So make sure you like the video up and make sure you leave a comment so you have a chance to win. So that being said, we are going to break down what the stats have been from last year to this year real quick. So on DraftKings since the start of 2023, 84% of the winning lineups have contained at least one quarterback. Spencer Rattler's probably not that dude tonight, but maybe we put him in there because they're probably going to be playing from behind, and he's probably going to have to throw it 50 times this game. So obviously Jordan Reed makes a ton of sense. Only 6% of the winning lineups on DraftKings used all $50,000 in salary. 16% of the winning lineups, so not very many, used a $200 player or less, which honestly, there's nothing that pops out yet. Maybe something throughout the day. Maybe, yeah, I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to be looking at anything whatsoever. Yeah, St. Brown, I didn't even realize. Playing his former team, but he's not even called up yet. Anything could happen, but yeah, there's nothing that I want in that range. But 80% of the winning lineups have used a $4,000 player or less. And I'm okay with that when we get down to here. So we got Wicks. You got Jamal Williams against his former team. So you could look at that. You could look at Foster Moreau. Tipton, because there's not a ton to go over with this lineup. Cedric Wilson, probably not, but he's there. I mean, he's still there at 1,200. He allows some. 4.841 target last week. Not really sure how he got 4.84 with no yards, unless he did returning. Who knows? But anyway, not a ton to love down deep lower here. Obviously, Kamara's out, Derek Carr is out, Olave is out, MVS is questionable, so we could see some stars and scrubs tonight. Average salary used on DraftKings has been $47,500, so they've left $2,500 on the table. So don't feel like you have to use all $50,000. There's a lot of people that do feel that. Looking at stack percentages, the most common stack that is won 44% of the time, a 4-2 stack. So if you think Green Bay is going to be up big, obviously put a 4-2 stack with Green Bay. But if you think they're going to be playing from behind and have to throw it a ton, I could also see a 4-2 stack with New Orleans because I just don't know how this game's going to go. It's going to be ugly. A 3-3 stack is won at 36% of the time, and a 5-1 stack is only won at 21% of the time. Then we get down to the nitty-gritty. We look at the captain percentages. Wide receiver has been in the winning captain spot 39% of the time. A running back has been 28% of the time. A QB 17%. A tight end 7%. A defense 7%, which I kind of like Green Bay's defense a lot tonight. And then a kicker only 2% of the time. This could be a kicking game too for the New Orleans Saints. Hope not. But if we are getting down to that, you've got not Hale. Where's New Orleans kicker? Blake Group. Not done too bad. Yeah, they're bad. They're a bad team. But he would make a lot of sense. I don't think, he's not on there. So, again, I'm going to be playing light compared to other people. But, yeah, we still have Wednesday football. We got 2 games on Wednesday that we're going to cover. We're going to have a breakdown of that for the Christmas games. So be prepared for that. So that being said, we can look at the matchup tool. I don't know how exclusively good it's going to be. But you can see. Here's how you read it. These are the defenses. These are the these are the stats allowed to the QB, and these are fantasy points per game. So you can see the Saints rank 18th out of 32 against the quarterback, giving up an average of 17.7 DraftKings points. Green Bay only ranks 7th, giving up 16. So Green Bay's defense is pretty good. So that's why I'm saying I think the defense might be good here. Running backs. The Saints rank 25th out of 32, giving up an average of 25 fantasy points on DraftKings and 23 fantasy points on FanDuel. So we are looking at Josh Jacobs. You are looking at who's the backup or second string running back that I can't even think of right now. For Green Bay. Is it Brooks? Anyway, or Wilson. Emmanuel Wilson. He hasn't really done much. So yeah, it's Josh Jacobs. He should be in store for a good game. And then the Packers against the run give up 24.1. So they're pretty close. So we are looking at Miller with Kamara being out. You could definitely look at Miller and his price, but I think they've priced him up at 9,400. That's the only problem. They've already priced him up. Wide receivers, you see the Saints ranked 27th out of 32, but the problem is there are so many different Green Bay wide receivers that could catch the ball here. We got to figure out who it's going to be. It's going to be Watson, Reed, Dobbs. I like Dobbs, but Reed, he's very boomer bust. He has those huge games, and then he has the games with 1 target, 0 receptions, and just screwed people over. 37.5 fantasy points per game average given up by Saints defense to the wide receivers on DraftKings, and 30.8 on FanDuel. And then Green Bay ranks 7th, so they're pretty good, 30.8 there. And the Saints are beat up, so depending on what wide receivers we can find, could get a little dicey. Tight ends, Green Bay ranks 26th, so you could be looking at the tight ends for New Orleans. So like we said early, you got Jawan Johnson, who's got the targets there, really hasn't done a ton, but, had some points there, had some value that we could find. And then that's it. Green Bay's obviously got Tucker Kraft, which I like Tucker Kraft as well. So that is the breakdown of looking at the matchup tool, which you can find completely free, NFL, first tab on the NFL. So let's build some lineups. So kind of looking early into these lineups, where can we go with this? I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a big game. Which is crazy. He is 17-4. So if you put him in there, you got to find value, which I think we can. And I think the Green Bay Packers defense will play a role here. So I do want some love. I want some Jacobs. So Dobbs is at 8,200. Reed is at 9,000. So if you look at Dobbs, game log wise, 40, he had 2 touchdowns last week. Reed, who everyone loves, 34 yards, but he's getting the run too. So they are giving him some rushes, which will bump his value up a little bit. So I'm going to put Jaden Reed in here too, just because New Orleans against the run is not very good. If he's got both of them and they do some trick plays, he could be in store for a good game. So I am looking at the Packers defense. I don't trust Spencer Rattler whatsoever. So now we're looking at 2 spots. Depending on where we're going to go, I think McManus makes sense. And then we have to get a Saints lineup in here at 1,600. You got Wilson. You got Pettis. Game log wise, Pettis 25 targets last game. I think we will see him be more involved. He's under 4K, so I get him in there. That is one lineup. Now, this is a very boomer bust lineup. These are tournament lineups. That is a 5-1 stack, which doesn't take it down a ton. But if it were to take it down, it might be in this spot because of how bad New Orleans they are. And yeah, so that's one lineup. A second lineup, I'm going to put Watson in the captain's MVP or superstar spot, depending on which website you're on. That's where I'm going to go there. So Watson goes there. Obviously got Love, thrown it to Watson. I got Josh Jacobs as well. Now, if we come down here to looking at this, I think we want to get the kicker in. I think that makes sense. It could be a kicking game. Would not be surprised if it is, in fact, a kicking game in this one. Jamal Williams so he's the backup. I think he gets a run here against his former team. So I'm going to put him in there. He is 3K. He's allowed us 7,400. So MVS Packers defense you could look at. I'm going to go Packers defense again. We got a 4-2 stack. Packers defense against group, which doesn't make it won't matter with Groupie or Williams. And I'm going to add this lineup. Now, again, these are tournament lineups. Things can and will change. There's just not a ton to love about this game completely. If I were you, I know you won't, but I would pull back a little bit, not play as much tonight. But we all know that's probably not going to happen, and that is okay. But let's take a look at a weird build that I don't know, but let's put Spencer Rattler at the MVP. Now, I don't know if this will do anything, but if we do that, I think we're able to get a ton of people that we want. So we got Dobbs in there. I want Watson in here. Now we're at 5,100 the rest of the way. Depending on where we go, I think Dante Pettis makes sense because there's not a ton, and he's 1,000. Now we're at 9,300, so we could get Jaden Reed in there. We could get the Packers defense. This is a 4-2 stack with Packers. It does have Spencer Rattler as the captain spot, which I'm okay with. You got to get a little creative, especially on a weird game like this. Then a final one. Let's put Jordan Reed at the top. Or Jordan Love, sorry. Jordan Love at the top. I want him to be thrown it to Dobbs. So I want to get him in there. I want to get Pettis in there. Could we get Rattler in there? We're at 8,100 the rest of the way. We could get Watson in there. And then we could get MVS if he plays. Now, if he plays, I'm okay. But if he is out, I don't know. Didn't practice Thursday due to chest injury and then didn't participate in either of the two subsequent ones. Presumably thanks in part to an illness. But yeah, so this is another one that if he plays, it's his former team that drafted him. So I'm going to put him in there just in case. Now, if he obviously is ruled out, then you have to change it up. And you're able to change it up because we have a ton of other plays at each position. So those are just some of the DraftKings lineups. So now we're going to look at FanDuel. Difference between FanDuel and DraftKings, we've got $10,000 more on FanDuel in salary and one less spot. And we call it an MVP instead of a captain. But I think it's pretty much the same kind of build. We're going to have Jacobs at the top. We're going to have Love throwing it to him. I want Miller in there as well because not a ton to go off of. Now we're averaging 9,700 the rest of the way. I think the Packers defense is going to find its way into my lineup. And then we can get in Tucker Kraft, Christian Watson, Juwan Johnson. I'm going to go Tucker. I actually might go Juwan Johnson. So we've got a 3-2 stack here. 3 Green Bay, 2 New Orleans Saints. So that's one lineup. It's a different lineup, but that is definitely one way to go about it. So looking at a second way to build, again, with the lineup differences, with the changes in the salary with 10K, we're able to do some different things. But let's take a look at a Miller MVP spot, which we might not be on a ton. But let's go Miller at the captain. Let's go Rattler throwing it to him or handing it off to him. Josh Jacobs. I don't see how Josh Jacobs doesn't make it into every single one of our lineups. Got a Jordan Love there, and now we're at 7,500. Jamal Williams against his former team. You've got Dontavian Wicks, Emmanuel Wilson as a backup. You could look at Malik Heath. You could look at Bo Melton. This is what I'm telling you. There are so many different targets for Jordan Love to throw to. Who will he throw it to? I still think I want to put Wicks in here. So it's a 3-2 stack. We've got Rattler and Miller, and then we've got the Packers there. So we will do one more lineup. Let's get creative. Let's put, and again, like I said, defenses, they've only less than 10% of the time they've been in the winning lineup as the captain or MVP. We're going to put him here. I'm going to put the Packers defense here because if you come all the way down, they are 9,000 compared to 15,500 with Josh Jacobs. Still can get him in there. Jordan Love in there. I think we get Miller in there because you don't want a ton to go against your defense, but Miller could be the guy. Then you got Tucker Kraft. You got Watson. I think I want Tucker Kraft in this one. So we got Jordan Love throwing it to Josh Jacobs or handing it off, and Tucker Kraft. Then the Packers defense, and we've got Miller as our New Orleans guy. Now we get to Yahoo. Not a ton of you play. The pricing's a little bit different. But yeah, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to make just a couple of lineups because, again, like I said, a lot of value goes into this. My time is valuable. Not a ton of you play this. So if you do play Yahoo, let me know down below. I'm just very curious how many of you actually do. So we get Jacobs in there at the top. I think we get Jaden Reed in here as well. I think we get Jordan Love too. So now we find some value. I think Miller makes sense. I think we've got to get him in there. Where is he at? All the way down to $12. See, that's the difference. Some of these websites don't like follow each other, and then the pricing's so drastically different. So then we are at $30 left, which would put Jordan. We've already got Jordan Love. Jaden Reed is in there. I'm going to go Green Bay Packers defense, and we have left $14 on the table. That is when it's going to tell you it could be a gross game out there. So Green Bay defense, Miller's the only New Orleans person there. So that's one lineup. And I can't play anything that's... Oh yeah, I can't play this because I'm in a state that doesn't allow it, which is so stupid. So that's one lineup. So I will clear this and we will do a second lineup. It was weird because there was no free lineup, which is usually there are. So Jordan Love as the superstar, I'm going to put him there. I want him throwing it to Watson. At 17, save some money. Rattler, I'm going to get him in there. I'm going to get Miller in there. And then we have $51. So Josh Jacobs. And I just feel like the way the pricing is on Yahoo today, you're going to see a lot of money being left on the table. So that's a second lineup. And then I will do a third and final lineup. I'm going to put Green Bay Packers as the superstar. I just feel like they could. Dobbs. Obviously love throwing it to Dobbs. With as much money as we're saving, Josh Jacobs is in there. Now we've got $27. We can put whoever we want in there. I think Miller makes some sense as well, being so cheap at $12, which is wild. And there you have it. We've left 15 on the table. We've looked at DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. We've done our matchup tool. We've checked everything out. So that's what I've got. Any questions, comments, concerns, get them down below or hit us up in our absolutely free Discord, which the link is down below. And that's what we've got today. So make sure you check out our NBA video, which I will link at the end of this video. And let's have some fun. Let's have a great Monday. No basketball tomorrow. No football tomorrow. We'll be back with everything. We've got Christmas on Wednesday. We'll break down that 2-game NFL slate. We've got Thursday Night Showdown we'll break down. We've got the main slate we'll break down for Sunday. We've got 3 games on Saturday. We've got Sunday Night Football. We've got Monday Night Football. So we have a ton of content for you guys coming your way for Week 17. Get excited. It is the last Monday Night Football of the year. Then we have week 18, and then we have the playoffs already, which is wild. I cannot believe we already have the NFL playoffs coming in the near future. So that's what I've got. Good luck today. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.